All right, so raise your hand if you're already using ChatGPT. Okay, cool, so not surprising, right? 99% of the audience. So what about, how many of you have used Gemini? So by the way, this is a little, right? Keep your hand raised if you have used Claude. What about Grok? Okay, so this is pretty much expected, right? So today's session is about so you become expert not only being the simple user of these tools, but how you can become more efficient and good at vibe coding, right? Because the first step in vibe coding is to know your tools. And I'm going to share my own workflow with you, the way that I vibe code. And I'm going to show, I think this is one of the better practices out there. And then you can copy that one or you can pick your own one, right? But the goal for today is that I want to show you what's happening behind the scene when you're talking to one of these LLMs, right? So we'll talk about client side, LLM side, and then what's happening behind the scene. And what is the working workflow for the vibe coding. Be good? All right. So let's do a quick fun project for the beginner. So if I ask you, build me a simple calculator app, how many of you feel comfortable create a simple calculator app like this with this user interface? Just raise your hand. All right. Yeah. And TOEIC, yeah, is teaching these things, right? So if you do not have computer science background, or let's say you want to start it traditionally, what do? Probably you need to know a little bit of HTML for structuring your web page. You need to add cascade layers on top of it to just play around with the font size, the font colors and everything. And then probably you need to add JavaScript to add some functionality to it, plus, minus, multiply, whatever. And then if you want to make it fancy, if you want your calculator to have some memories, you want to go with React, which is a JavaScript library, to just keep track of the status of your calculator, right? As you can see, there's a lot of moving parts, right? But what if I tell you do not need to know any of that thing? And what if I tell you that you can say, build me a simple calculator app, and then just sit and see it happens in front of your eyes? So that's going to be fun, right? So let's do it a quick try, and then I'll come back and explain about, again, the workflow that I have in mind for today. You good? Awesome. So I'm going to open up, probably you all familiar with this thing. Let's see, 1, 2, okay. So this is, typically what I do is, I have ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Grok, all of them open, because it takes time for you to figure out what model is best at doing what. So this is what I really want you to do, okay? Go with the free version, but eventually you're going to pick one. For example, for me, when it comes to coding, hands down, Claude. I'm going to use Sonnet 4 model, and because it's, again, I've tried all of them, and you're going to see what's the difference between them, but you have to figure out which of these LLMs you're going to use for your own case, right? So I'm going to put something like this. Build me a simple app, right? Build me a simple calculator app. I'm going to copy this thing and then hit go, right? So I'm going to paste it to all of them. Again, this is just the preview. You're just warming up.
The drop, can you move a little closer to you?
Yep.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Hopefully we'll have a better setup next time, but yeah. So as you can see, so it seems that Claude Code decided to go with the React path, right? So it's coding for you. This is vibing, right? This is not coding. So it's trying to create that simple calculator app that so many of you guys said, I'm not comfortable creating it right now, right? But the AI is doing it for you. So let's look at some of them. So Grok is working on it. It's already come up with something. Gemini, and by the way, each of them are going to open their interface. So for example, Grok and Gemini and ChatGPT, they have something called Canvas. And Claude has something called, what is this thing? Artifact, right? So this is the outcome for Claude. Let's see what the ChatGPT does. This is, by the way, this is the GPT-5. And for Claude, we use Sonnet 4. And we use the latest model for each of them, right? So, yeah, ChatGPT, I think I needed to add the Canva thing. Automatically, it was supposed to figure out this is Canva, but, or Canvas. Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to go with either Claude, Gemini, or, sorry, this is Grok, right? So let's see if they work. 5 multiply 6. All right, this is working. How about Gemini? So 5 plus 6. oh, this is, you need to work on the UI of this one. And this is for the, 9, 8, 17. So almost all of them are working. So that was pretty easy, right? And then if you want to think that, okay, what if I want to get exact same UI, right? So you're the designer, you're the creator. So you can literally use Paint, some simple app, to come up with the UI that you have in mind. So I'm just going to go do a quick screenshot of this, and then go back and ask Claude, or any of them, right? So can you update the UI to something like this? I'm going to just simply paste it here. So let's give that task, because, I don't like what Gemini put together. Or for ChatGPT, they have to go with the canvas thing. So let's go with these two. Can you update the UI to something like this? All right, let's see what it does. Let's go back to this one. So it's working on it. So obviously it's working on the CSS one, but you don't need to know that. There you go. I think it's generated something. We're almost there. But I said it was there. It tried to. Interesting. So let's do. I saw it show me something. Let's look at the brush thing. It's working on it. Anyways, but the point is that it will give you the UI, right? I'm not seeing the updated UI. I'm going to give it one more try and then we move on. But that was the whole point, is that this is why when some big AI voices are talking about English as a new programming language, this is what they mean, right? So you will be able to just go from ideas to prototypes like this. Just as long as you know English or any other language for that matter, you can do that. There you go, it got it, right? So this is exactly what the UI that I wanted, and then it did it in just 2 prompts. So Claude can do it. Again, I'm biased about Sonnet 4 because when it comes to coding, again, hands down, Claude is one of the best models out there. This is what Grok did. Again, you have to do some back and forth, right? So that's why I mean you need to know the right tool when you're doing vibe coding. I don't mean that you cannot figure this out, but the point is that you can do it more efficiently. Right? So if you know the right tool, you can do it more efficiently for sure. Okay, so there you go, it's working. All right, now that was the simple demo, but I want to talk about, so the rest of the talk is going to be something like this, right? So maybe 10 to 15 minutes, or maybe 15, I will talk about what is happening behind the scene. What is client, what is LLM, and what happens when you send a request to those LLMs. What is happening behind the scene? Because we know that, so for example, we're going to work with 3 setups. You know, Copilot, GitHub Copilot plus VS Code, Cursor AI, and then Cloud. Well, let me actually do another quick pulse. So how many of you have used GitHub Copilot plus VS Code? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. What about Cursor AI? What about Cloud Code? Cloud Code, the CLI, the command line thing, not the artifact that I just showed you. All right, so, okay, so I'm going to show you these 3, it's awesome, Tyler. I'm going to show you how to set up these 3 things. And then, of course, there are some other clients as well. We can probably have heard about Windsurf. It's another one which was bought by OpenAI, and then Anthropic cut their tokens off. So there's a war, right? There's a war out there. But I think these are the ones that I think you can set up your GitHub Copilot for free with your USU student account, and then hook it up with VS Code, and then you're good to go. You can create your first app tonight. Okay? All right, so, and then the rest of the talk is going to be me showing you 3 simple demos. So the first one is an interactive tool for learning theory better, right? So I'm going to showcase the central limit theorem here. How many of you have taken stats before? You know what is central limit theorem? How many of you are comfortable explaining, come up here and explain it? Probably very few of us, right? But what if you can visualize it? For sure, you can do it.
Our boss is here, so.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. But I'm going to show you the tools to create that the visualization for you, to help you understand the theory better. Because I strongly believe going forward, things are going to change. You know, we're going to be more, so the theory part is going to become more important. So for example, you're doing machine learning modeling, if you know exactly what happens in that decision tree or random forest, that matters most. Or if you're doing statistics, what is law of large number? What is central limit theory? I'm going to show you how you can quickly create your own visualization tool and then learn those topics better at your own pace. Sounds good? So this is going to be our first app. The second one is, because my background is finance, I'm obsessed with finance, so let's do a quick stock visualizer. So it's a prototype app. We are going to create a web base, we're going to connect it to Yahoo Finance, download the data live, and then visualize it, add some moving indicators, and then buy, sell signals, and lose money. Okay? So that's the second plan. And the third one, this is the exciting part. I want to show you how you can create your personal website. You're going to do it all now in 30 minutes, believe it or not. So you're going to create your own website and showcase these projects. So just imagine when you're looking for jobs, instead of sending your, for example, the link to your LinkedIn or resume, what if you send your web page URL to the employer out there? And what if you showcase the tools and apps and demos that you put together? So that's the plan for today. Sounds good? All right. Okay, so very quick on it, just in a nutshell, what is vibe coding? As you'd guess, we saw that build me a simple calculator app. Vibe coding at its core is about shifting from writing syntax line by line to just describing what you want. So I think your hardest task going forward is this. Can you describe what you want? Believe it or not, this is the hardest part of your whatever you're doing, right? If you can describe it in English and now in any other language, to be honest, you're good to go. And the AI is going to take care of the rest. It's going to handle the boilerplate. And don't get me wrong, you're not out of the loop here. Right. You will be the creator, you're the designer, you're the supervisor, you're the one who's going to review the code at the end of the day and then sign off. Okay? And if, for those of you who are familiar with SDLC, software development lifecycle, so I want to show what part of this, well, depending on what source you're using, we can have 6 or 7. If you take Andy Bream's course, there are 6 steps in SDLC. We start from planning and analysis, we go to the design, implementation, testing and integration, and then maintenance. And I can say confidently that AI has already taken over the deployment implementation, 99%. Again, this is me, I might be biased, I don't have CS background, but I have created crazy apps over the summers that I feel very confident saying that. Okay? And but when it comes to, for planning and analysis, you can go to the planning mode of these LLMs or clients, help you with the idea. And I think the only thing that's missing right now, as of 2025-ish, is the maintenance part, right? So here, this is still lagging. So AI is not able, it's really good at testing and integration, but when it comes to maintenance, we're not there yet, right? But the point is that, as you can see, I personally think that this whole life cycle of SDLC is going to be taken over within a year or two. Okay? And yeah, there are big names out there that are making these bold statements, but I am in the camp of the believers that we're going to delegate everything to AI, and we'll be sitting as a creator and a thinker, designer behind these apps. All right, so here. Again, don't get me wrong, I don't want to say that vibe coding is going to replace developer. Basically, it's all about rapid prototyping. Going from ideas, testing ideas very quickly with minimal investment, having this mindset of code first, refine later. How many of you guys have been stuck in this perfectionism? That's myself, right? I have lots of ideas, but I don't start because I don't know where to start, or how to write it. So you need to focus. So I think with vibe coding, you can focus on what to build instead of how to write it, right? And then, again, AI is going to handle the tedious part. You will be the creative flow. And what makes me excited about this whole vibe coding is this. I'm a big believer of this democratization of AI. So this is democratizing developments, and non-coders, people with no background in CS, including myself, that have tons of ideas, they can create functional apps. Again, the point is not replacing developers. The point is helping them to become more efficient coders or developers and give them some free time. They can spend their free times on coding, on designing instead of coding, typing everything from scratch. Okay? So why you, that you're sitting here, regardless of your background, if you're computer science or data major, business students, or someone absolute beginner who has no idea, who has not written a single line of code in your life, regardless of what your, yeah, I can see Kelly says yes, that's me. But you can do it, Kelly. I know. I'll check on you right after this. You can do it, right?
Please do.
Yes. So if you're a computer science major or data major, it's about making making prototypes faster, right? You can focus on architecture and you can focus on reviewing the code instead of typing it from scratch. If you're a business student, this vibe coding is going to make you dangerous in a very good way. Just imagine you walk in and you want to pitch your idea. Instead of PowerPoint and slide, you can show them a prototype, which is working. And then you can decide, you can hand it off to a developer team after the first round of seeding, etc. Or you can just play around with vibe coding because you need to practice, right? And AI helps you to learn better in this process. So you can either hand it off to a developer team or you can keep iterating. And then if you're a beginner, if you're an absolute beginner, trust me, as long as you can describe what you want, you can start. And this is a difficult task. So what do you want? So just sit with yourself and say, I want to build an app. So where should I start? Come with an idea. Don't focus on how can I make it. Just think about what you do. All right, and then I think, again, this one, which is very relevant to you guys that are here, right? I think first time Doug, Derek, where are you, Doug? He came up with this, yep, at the back. With this, like, the term of become a job maker instead of job taker. I really like that analogy. And the reason is that, believe it or not, I think except from top tech companies out there, the majority, I can say plus 90%, and Sharad, Andy, Elijah, you can confirm, plus 90% of the companies out there, they have no idea what they can do with AI. Is 90% too high or low? I don't know. Except from top tech companies, right? And so the thing is that, imagine you're interviewing and they want you to be efficient or proficient in Excel. What if you say, hey, I know Excel, but what if I can build you a quick dashboard using vibe coding in half an hour in your interview, and then show it to them what's possible with AI, right? So the point is that you can be this bridge from being a job taker to job maker. Right? So this is my biggest pitch for today. I want you to become the job makers. There are some job posting out there that the employers have no idea what they are, and that's your job, that's your role to just make sure they're aware of that. Sounds good? All right, so how are you doing on time? I think we're good. So these are the three tools that I'm going to showcase it to you. GitHub Copilot, that's an agent within VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So this is just an IDE, and then we're going to add this GitHub agent to that, and then we're going to look into Cursor, and then Cloud Code. So if you scan this QR code, it's going to send you to my GitHub repository, and then there are some tutorials how you can set up your workflow, right? So let me see if I can show it to you. It will be something like this. Yeah, there you go. So something like this. So I have three different ones. So one for Cloud, one for VS Code, one for Cursor AI. So if you follow these steps, I think I said created by ChatGPT and Cursor, if I'm wrong. So, and that's my new signature, by the way. So, and I'm communicating with my students.
The QR code.
Yeah, I'll put it up again. Let me see if I can move this thing. There you go. So if you follow those steps, it should be pretty straightforward. And I absolutely want you, this is free. GitHub Copilot inside VS Code is free. I absolutely want you to start from this tonight. What it is, what are the models, what are the use cases, and what is the pricing? So it's an AI coding assistant. So the Copilot itself is not an IDE, it's inside an IDE, which our IDE is VS Code. And they have added the agent mode. This is a new thing. The agent mode is a new thing that the Copilot added, which is a really game changer. I like it. And you can basically use it for conversational coding, multi-file editing, and then agentic workflow, creating boilerplates, refactoring, debugging, testing, you name it. I think the use case is pretty much the same across all the platforms that I'm going to show it to you. The difference is how they communicate with the LLM. So I have a slide that explains that one. I think that's a really important one. Yeah. QR code. Let me try my best.
There's also screens back here.
Is it any better, Chloe?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Got it? You good? All right. So for those who have never used these clients before, it might be daunting at the beginning. So Kelly, I'm talking to you. So don't get overwhelmed. This is you're gonna get used to this whole UX pretty fast. But and they can. So for example, this GitHub Copilot can be connected to OpenAI models, Sonnet, some open source ones, you name it, right? So the latest models are always added to these clients pretty fast. So that's the GitHub Copilot plus VS Code, okay? The next one is Cursor AI, and as you can see, this looks pretty much the same. They're gonna showcase it live, but this is pretty much the same as VS Code. You know, Cursor and Windsurf, probably I've heard Windsurf, they're simply forks from VS Code. Forks simply meaning that the UX is pretty much the same, and then they have added their own models to communicate with the models, with the LLM models, okay? And again, when it comes to the models, they have their own built-in picker. So for example, if you're passing a large code base, probably it's going to use Gemini because it has more token to just create a summary and then pass it to Sonnet for coding and things like that. And then when it comes to pricing, Cursor, they have a student version available for free, but we had mixed feedback from our students in Andy's class. And some students were able to authenticate that one, some students were not. But I don't know, maybe you have to try it. I think the rule was try it 4 times on their website, try to upload your driving license 4 times, and it eventually will work.
It's worth the $20.
It's
worth it.
Yeah, it is worth the $20. But again, you can have it for free too, right, as a student. And then finally, the third one is Claude Code. This is my absolute go-to platform because you will feel, if you work with Claude Code enough. By the way, it's not a VS Code fork. This is terminal. It's a CLI, right? It's like a terminal, and then you're communicating with this, terminal thing. But it's very, very user friendly. Again, at the beginning, it's going to seem overwhelming, but it's very user friendly. Okay, and the bad news about Claude Code is that it's not free. So you have to go with minimum $20, and then it has $100 and $200. It's worth every single penny. So I'm on the $200 plan, and it's worth every single penny. I'm saving thousands per month. Well, you will see when you're developing your own app, you will see what I mean by that. It's as if you have hired a whole army of developers, because you can have multiple agents who work on different parts of the apps, and then you can build your app in no time. Okay. All right, so I think that's everything I wanted to cover here. And one last slide. This is a big one. Pay attention. So because this is very important. So all those things that I showed to you, like Cursor, Copilot, Claude Code, Windsurf, these are clients. These are the ones that you see. So this is you. When you say build me a calculator app, it's going to send it to the client. So that interface, the UX is client. You good so far? And then client is responsible to send your request to LLM APIs. What are those LLM APIs? Like OpenAI, Gemini, Grok, Claude. Do not confuse Claude Code and Claude. Claude is the LLM, Claude Code is the client. Very good? And then I'm going to say, hey, build me an app or give me a calculator. It's going to send that request to LLM API. And LLM API is going to think and say, okay, I need these tools. So it's going to send that prompt back to the client. The client say, okay, this is the list of tools, and it's going to pick those tools for you. So the client decide which tools or APIs to call, right? So it's going to call those tools, right? So for example, I don't know, you need an HTTP request, file opening, file reader, Python, GitHub, database management. All these tools are going to be called by your client. So the secret sauce of Cursor versus VS Copilot versus Claude Code is here. Because the model is the same. Let's say you connect all of them. You connect Cursor, Copilot, and Claude Code to Sonnet 4 or Opus 4.1. The model is the same, so why they behave differently? Are you following? So the thing that I showed you here as well, here, what do you think are these ones? Are these clients or LLM models? What are these things? These are clients. There you go, right? So when you open, for example, but these are clients specifically built for that LLM. So we have Claude, which is built for Cloud Code. We have Cloud web-based, which is built for Cloud, and etc. So we have ChatGPT, which is for OpenAI, and etc. etc. Are we good? Do you know what's the difference? What's happening behind the scene? So again, the secret sauce is how these clients are communicating with your LLM, with the model. Yep.
Wait, so you, in the example here, you said like that chat was an LLM, but here you said it's a client.
Yeah, ChatGPT, the web-based, the website that you go to, you type in chatgpt.com, that's the client. They're going to use the ChatGPT models behind the scene. Okay. GPT models behind it. So they're going to, the LLM is going to be GPT, the client is going to be chatgpt.com, the website.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and you are going to be.
So the client is just like a
interface. Exactly. But it's responsible to communicate between you and the model. And the model is going to call some tools. The client is responsible to pick up those tools as well. So that's where, again, that's where the secret sauce is. And now I'm going to, for the sake of time, I think we're good. I'm going to show you quickly these 3 demos. And I'm going to do them side by side, and you'll see how it goes. All right, do you hear me now?
We're also recording this, so if you don't catch it all, we'll post it so you can watch it later.
All right, so I'm going to have my, so this is VS Code. I'm going to have it open, and then I'm going to have open the cursor. So let's start with these 2. Keep it simple. Of course, if you spend more time in, more or better prompting, probably we're going to get a better result. But so I'm going to open a project. So this is, as you can see, this is pretty much, they look pretty much the same. We have some extensions on the left. We have some chatbot here. I can open it. You have, again, just follow those instruction guides that I sent you, or you download on my GitHub account. So you will see how to set up this thing. So I have my chat agent on the right side, so I can open this one. This one has a chat too. Then you can start just vibing, right? And I just need to open a new folder. So I'm going to go to my download folder and then create, well, you know what? Let me create those ones first. I'm going to go to my download folder and then make directories. So let's say vibe coding. And inside that vibe coding, I'm going to make 3 folders. Let's call them CLT for central limit theorem. I'm going to zoom in. Don't worry. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit later. I'm just creating some folders here. When I get to the Cloud Code and terminal, I'm going to zoom in. So this CLT folder is for our central limit theorem visualization. Then we're going to have our stock visualizer, stock viz, and then we can have our website. Okay. So there are 3 folders. Let's just check if they exist. Yeah, there we go. So these are the folders. And I'm going to open, let's open the whole thing. So I'm doing it side by side, right? On the left, I have VS Code, Copilot. On the right, I have Cursor, okay? So, and both of them are, let me just make sure we are in the new, I'm going to close this up. I just want to make sure that you're in the right folder. Open project, go to downloads, VBC, and then open. All right, I think we're good to go. Then the rest is vibing for now, right? Let's go with the, so go to the, by the way, this agent is taking control of your directory, right? So it knows that we are in this working directory, and then you can create folders, add files in it, edit files, refactor your code, and everything, okay? So let's say, go to the CLT folder and create a subfolder. They're named, I'm going to name it CLT underscore, this is my VS Code, right? Copilot, let's call it VS Code. Well, Copilot is a better name because VS Code is just an IDE, Copilot. And I need you to create a simple interactive tool that helps me understand the central limit theorem better. Again, I can go on and on, which I should go give it a better prompt, but here, just for the sake of time, I want to just pass it to VS Code and see what it does. Of course, you can refine these prompts later, right? So I'm going to copy this one and then paste it to this, but here we're going to change the subfolder to CLT. Instead of Copilot, let's go with Cursor. Okay. And then you can pick what model. So I don't know. We can go with Sonnet 4. That's my favorite. And then for the cursor, they have their own built-in model picker, right? You can go either with auto or just say, I want to pick my own model. I can go with auto. It really doesn't matter. And then you just press enter. Again, you can come up with better prompts for sure, but for now, I'm gonna hit run on both of them. So this has started vibing. Let me see if I can have them side by side. Should be able to have it side by side. It doesn't let me. Well, there you go. So this one. So as you can see, it's working on it and it's creating some. So this one is asking for some permission, the cursor thing. It says, do you want to make directory, call it CLT underscore cursor? Say, okay, go ahead and run. And it's giving you a to-do list, right? Let me see. So both of them are working on it. So on the right side, it says creating a folder. It's interesting. It's doing string list. It's using Python app you might be seeing. That's interesting. So this is the pay off client, right? So one client decided to pick string with app, Python app. The other one is probably doing. Let's see what the other one is doing. Is it going to do HTML or what? Let's see. So Copilot. Yeah, both of them are going with the Streamlit app. Interesting. So maybe I should maybe when I want to prompt it, I can say, you know what, create an HTML version of that. So let's make one of them HTML. Let's say this is great. Now create a simple HTML web-based app. I want to have a single HTML file to run the Visp, right? So let's see how it does. Well, it's working on it. Okay, but you get the idea. It's working on the app, and let's go full screen in one of them. So this one is the Copilot one. So it generates all these things for you, right? This is a interactive. This is a Python file, and then interesting. One of them is simple. One of them is interactive. It shows you the requirements. Typically, it generates some README file. So it's generating all these things inside your folder, inside those blank folders for you, right? And it says, hey, this is your app. This is what it does and how you should run it, right? So if you scroll down, probably it's going to say if it is a Streamlit app, and then you need to simply just do, let's say, Python. Yeah. Well, actually, it's not even Streamlit. This is simply just a Python file. We can just run it, right? So let's see. Let's undo this one because I want to get an HTML version out of one of them. So let's do an HTML version. So one of them created, again, both of them here use Python. But if I'm more specific, I say, okay, create this HTML version. So let's see what it does. Anyways, that's our first app. Eventually, you will create something like this, that this is your central limit theorem visualizer. You have the HTML version, and when you put together your website, you can just add it as one of the pages to your website. So far, good? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna give it some time and see what it does here. Any questions so far? And by the way, Dr. Brim and Elijah, they're working on putting together a full stack app company while we're doing this.
We're
right?
proving that this works. Very well. All we're starting with is a dream. And Flash. And Cursor and AWS and Big
Thank you.
We're building, we don't want to spoil the surprise. We're building our dream. Hey, there you go. I said everything, but I said nothing.
Yeah, both of them are still working on it to get the HTML version. And then, yeah, I'm gonna give it 1 more minute, and then we're gonna move on to the next task. If it doesn't, well, okay, it's working on the HTML version. Probably it's working. Okay. All right. So the HTML is ready, and it's giving you some documentation. You can open it up and see what's inside. Yeah, this is your, the interactive visualizer, right? So what is central limit theorem? I could have asked, hey, explain central limit theorem as in a paragraph at the beginning, and then tell me what are the parameters and everything, right? But we know that, so imagine this, simply put, imagine this is your population distribution, right? If I pick a random sample draw, let's say size 90 of this population, and I take the average, and I repeat this process 1,000 times, plot the distribution for average, regardless of the population distribution, what is the distribution of sample means? Normal. So that's central limit theorem, right? So let's see. There you go. So regardless of parent distribution, look at that. I can go with bimodal, right? If I repeat this process, the distribution of the averages is going to be normally distributed. So you can learn the theory a lot better using this simple interactive tools. Does that make sense? And again, you can showcase it to the employers out there. Say, hey, I know this concept because I created this visualizer for myself. All right, so that was the first one. Let's go to the second task. And I think for the sake of time, I'm going to stick to only the VS Code for now. But both of them, let me see if the cursor one is ready too. So that was what you saw was VS Code. Another one is, let's see the cursor, the HTML version of the cursor. So this is the cursor version. I think is it still working on it? Yeah, probably. Anyways, I think cursor is still working on it. Yeah, but you get the idea. And then the reason that these two are behaving very differently, even though the prompt was exactly the same, is that that's a secret sauce, right? How they're communicating between LLMs and you and your prompt. Okay. All right. So let's go to the stock visualizer, and I'm gonna after that create this website very quickly and then pass it to Andy. All right. So I'm gonna go to my VS Code and say, okay, this is great. Let's create a new chat. Oh, I'm gonna keep everything, keep and continue, because yeah. So let's create a new one, and then let's use Sonnet again. Okay, create a simple Streamlit app. So this Streamlit is a simple Python package that you can launch Python visualization tool very fast, right? So create a simple Streamlit app that visualize stock price. The app takes ticker name, and use Yahoo Finance API to download daily data, visualize a simple candlestick chart. I want to be able to add two simple moving averages as well. All right, so again, you can do better prompts, but you get the idea. We're doing it all in less than half hour, right? So let's see what it does. So I didn't ask it to put it in the stockviz folder anyway, so it's gonna put it in the root directory, but that's fine. We can move it over. Well, actually, it's really if it put it in the stockviz folder, that would be amazing. I'll create the Streamlit stock visualization in the stockviz folder. You see how smart is that? I didn't ask it to put it there, but because I had a folder here named stockviz, so you know what? Let's put this app in that folder. Okay, so yeah, it's working on the app, and let's see. It's adding the requirement file because you will know what Python packages you need, Streamlit, Yahoo Finance, and then probably it's going to add a README, and that's it, right? So I'm going to keep this file. Yeah, it's going to do the README thing. It says how you should run your Streamlit app, and then I think we're good to go. So now all I need, again, in the README, it will show you all the details how you should run this, right? So let me minimize this. Say install the requirements and then do Streamlit run app.py, right? So I'm gonna do Command Shift. Let's do a terminal. I have a Conda environment. Again, the difference between someone who has not done a single line of code and me doing this live is that I just know these tools better than you. But other than that, we have the same background. If your background is not computer science, we're in the same boat, okay? So I say, okay, so this is an environment that I already have a Streamlit on it, and then I say, okay, Streamlit run app, and then let's do it. It's gonna open up this one. So this is our stock visualizer. Yep, so the market is closed now. If you check what was the price of Apple stock price, so probably the close price should be this. Yeah, September 8th, it's, what is the close? 237. And I can add, I don't know, let's see, we can go 6 month, couple of years using daily data and show you a table. Yeah, and I can add some simple moving average. So this is a stock visualizer, right? So that was pretty fast. Now the last step is, you know what? Let's go there. And so I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna remove this cursor one because it was not working. So we have some stock visualizer app in this folder. We have some CLT visualizers in this folder, and I want to create my own website here. Okay, so that's where I think my favorite workflow, which is Claude Code, is going to come to place. It's super powerful. So I'm going to open a terminal, and inside that terminal, let's do. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right, is the font size good? Better? All right. So we are in this folder, right? I have already installed Claude Code. So for me, I just need to go to that directory, which is this one. So we're already in this VBC directory. And I say, hey, Claude, let's fire up, right? So if I just type Claude, so this is the CLI that I was talking about, right? This is the client's Claude Code client, which is using the Claude models only, right? Then I say, you started like this. What do you see in this folder? And Claude Code, it takes some time to get familiar with all the terminologies and then shortcut keys and etc. But if you do backslash, there's tons of things you can do, right? You can say, you can pick the model, you can say, for example, what's going wrong. You can do some diagnostic tools. You can create a README file and et cetera, right? And you can change plan modes too. Right now, if I do Shift Tab, do you see these modes? So accept edits on. So it says, whatever you want me, I'm going to go ahead and apply it without asking for your permission. Or we have plan modes, right? So I think the better thing is I'm going to change the model to one of the greatest ones. So this is the more expensive one. If you go with the $20, you have access to Sonnet. I would say use Opus 4.1 for plan mode because that's the most important part of building together your app. The plan one needs more power, right? So for that, and then for the rest, for the coding, just use Sonnet 4, right? So that's my model. And you see my plan mode is on. I say, okay. So I want you to create a professional website.
We're ready whenever you are.
Yeah, I think I'm just one more minute and I'm going to pass it to you. A professional website with, again, keep it simple, 3 pages. The homepage, having a placeholder for my bio and photo, and showcasing the tools and skill and tech that I use to create. Because remember, you're showcasing it to your employers. You want to show them that these are the tools that I know how to work with, right? That I use to create the Viz and, let's say, demo app. Then a separate page for interactive tool and put the CLT Viz there. Another page for demo, which is showcasing the stock Viz app. Yeah, again, I can go on and on and on, make this prompt better, but with Claude Code, probably is going to prompt me some questions, but because it's so powerful, at least the Opus model, there was this guy on YouTube who set a proxy between Claude Code clients and Claude LLMs. And he tracked down every single communication between you as a user and Claude. And for every single prompt that I'm sending to Claude LLMs, there's tons of messages back and forth between the client and Anthropic API, right? And so that's why when it comes to Claude Code, I trust its reasoning, especially the Opus one. But if you work with the powerful enough model, you should come with better prompting, right? So the plan mode is done, right? It's going to say, hey, yeah, it's gonna. This is the plan, right? So it's gonna create a website for us. There's one page index HTML tools, and then demos, and then the embedded the link to Streamlit app. So it's embedding a link to Streamlit app. So Andy, do you mind if I just go one more? Because right now the StockViz, yeah, the StockViz is using the Streamlit app. I don't want to do it that way. I want to make sure that stock visualization is completely separate from Python. They can just do it online, right? So I'm gonna say, let's keep planning. This is great, but I need to have the stock viz as a separate standalone HTML file. So you need to, so this is a big task. So for those who have a little bit of background in Python and JavaScript, so you need to convert this Streamlit app to JavaScript. So what it's going to do is to use the HTML from CLT and then use the Streamlit app for the stock visualizer, convert it to HTML using JavaScript, and then we have two HTMLs now. It's going to add it to my web page and then put together my homepage as well. High level, are you following what we're doing? Okay, great. So yeah, so it says I'm going to update the plan. And I think for timing, and you can go. So I'm going to say, you know what? I like this plan. It says convert the Streamlit to standalone HTML, JavaScript, API strategy for stock data. Of course, it's going to shift from Yahoo Finance using Python to JavaScript libraries and et cetera, et cetera. Let's see how it does. I say yes, accept everything. So this is going to take, I don't know, this is a super simple website with a couple of HTMLs. And probably it's going to take less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to do Control T to show you the to-do list, right? So a cool thing about Cloud Code is it creates this to-do list. And the reason that's different, by the way, these things that I showed to you, they're using Sonnet behind the scenes, Sonnet 4. The model is exactly the same. But it's different. So the reason that you see Cloud Code is showing this nice to-do list because it's built that, right? So that's the secret sauce of Cloud Code. That if you work with Cloud Code, again, this is my personal experience, it feels a lot more agentic compared to Cursor or VS Copilot. I think the reason for that is that the same company who's developing the LLM is creating this file. So they know what's that model needs best compared to the model. All right, so it's working. So it's one create main website structure, and I can have that folder open too. Let's see. So it's so going to this website, probably, I don't know what. Yeah, it's already doing it. So working on it, right? So the cover page is there, and then as you can see, it's adding JavaScript, CSS, and let's see if I can have them side again. And this one, the right-hand side. All right, so while Cloud Code is working on this professional website, I want Andy to just quickly present what they're working on the other side, and probably this is going to take 3 or 4 minutes. You good? All right, I'll pass it to Andy.
Thank you very much. How about Pedram Jahangiry? Are you kidding me? I don't get it. I don't know. All right, so here's what Elijah and I have been working on. By the way, my name is Andy Brim. I do have a CS background. I have a PhD in CS and a bachelor's in CS. And I taught in CS for 4 years as an instructor. And Elijah was my top student in CS. So you got really good grades if you know what I'm saying. So there you go. I can't tell you his grades for them, but they were really good. So. All right, so here's what we've been working on. I teach a class building software with AI because I realized pretty quick that vibe coding was hitting the scene, and vibe coding, yeah, we're on the Zoom. I'll share my Zoom. Vibe coding is incredible, but it does make a lot of assumptions. So vibe coding is getting all of the attention, but what about vibe design and vibe architecture and vibe deployment and vibe testing and vibe maintenance? And those are just kind of looked over as assumptions. Now, AI is actually really good at making those assumptions and doing a lot of auto-deploy maintenance and testing for you. But the more you know about the process, the better you will be as a coder, whether or not you are generating it with your hands or AI under your management. So the class and what we've been doing basically is creating an EC2 instance. How many of you have worked on AWS before by showing hands? How many have not? So many people already not, some have not. So AWS, thank you, Kelly. AWS allows you to create a server, so a Linux server or a bunch of server for very cheap or free. And then you can hook up Cursor to it and then prompt Cursor, hey, I want to build a website, and let Cursor start generating it for you. And it's extremely fast. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what I've been working on.
Andy, do you mind just waiting 1 second? Because I think Cloud Code is almost done. No, it's converted everything. I don't want to go back and forth. So it's going to start.
Now back to, this is like the Donnie and Marie show. Now back to the details.
All right, I think Cloud Code is almost done, working on the final touches here. And yeah, there you go. So, and I like the terms that they use, validating or.
What was that? Oops, sorry.
And by the way, you can drag and drop images file into these clients as well. So it's done, right? So it says we created these things, and you know what? Let's open it. Let's open the website.
So the screen, do you see
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the website that we put together now in half hour. And in this website says, imagine you're again, you're gonna add your picture here, your bio here, your links, GitHub, LinkedIn, whatever. These are the texts and tools that you use. So you're sending signals to your employers that, okay, these are the things that I know, or at least I know how to use them, vibe coding, and etc. And then you can go to interactive tools. So this is your CLT. You should be able to run it here. There you go. It's working seamlessly. If you go to demos, and this is a standalone. It should be a standalone thing because originally it was connecting to a link to the Streamlit app, but now this is the website, right? Web page. So if I just click on update chart, it should do it for us. There you go. So we're live. And then the rest, if you want to take this one to the next level, you're going to say, you know what? I have this whole web thing. I'm going to go to either AWS for just deployment, or you can go to GitHub. GitHub has this free website. You can make a repository here and then make your website live on GitHub. So you can ask Claude to do that for you as well. So say, hey, Claude, make this one a private GitHub repository. You have to give it some access. And then show me what are the steps to make this website live right now. It's going to take you 5 minutes. So that was it. That was my spiel.
It's remarkable how fast you can build complicated applications. But the more you know about how an application works, how to build one, deploy one, make it good, what decisions to make when building an app and what not to do, will just make your app better and make you faster at it. Let me give you an example. So what I've done here is I created a new EC2. I logged on with Cursor and I said, I'm building an app. Oh, here's our dream. We got to tell you our dream. So Elijah and I, we had an idea for an app. This is real, by the way. It's a neighborhood garage sale which supports simultaneously silent bidding and buy now options like KSL. So it's basically a neighborhood yard sale plus KSL feature and functionality plus silent auction features and functionality. And the company, we take a very small cut, 1%, and the hoster, the neighborhood HOA, gets a percent as well. Everything else goes to the sellers. So that's the idea, that's the dream. Now we just got to build it, right? So I hopped on an EC2 and just started chatting. I want to build this back end. Here's our idea. Here's all the databases I need. Go. And then here's everything that Cursor did. So I'm going to scroll down slowly. All the commands you see right here were generated by Cursor. I chose the two LLMs I chose for Cursor. I don't know if you've used it before, but Claude and GPT, because they're great. So then, here we go. So here's all the commands I need to do my installs. Here's all the code I need to create all the models and databases and schema updates. And all the stuff that I need is right there. All right, so what's the difference between me and you doing it? Well, me, having coded for a while and built apps for a while, I can read that like I read an email, read through and say, yep, 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 no, I don't want that, I don't need that, yep, yep, looks good, great, done. And then I can have all of that run in 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Whereas to you, who it's new, you still can do that too, but you're going to have more of an iterative process. As you go through this and say, I don't understand what that's doing, Cursor, please explain to me what that's doing so I understand. And then you can understand and understand and understand. We live in the day of the greatest learning tool in history, GPT and the other large language models. And the more and better you get at learning, the faster and faster you'll get at building, and the better you'll get at building. And really, your imagination, the sky is the limit on what you can build, because you can get so faster. I don't want you to walk away today thinking that vibe coding means that your learning is done, and your building with your own two hands is done. That's not true at all. Your learning has just accelerated. Your ability to build is just accelerating. Lean into that. Lean into learning and building, doing more and doing things that are hard. And if you do that, the faster and faster and faster you get. So I'll tell you a little anecdote. Anecdotes are great, right? So who knows Troy Wisenbach? A couple people. Troy took this class and he said, I have multiple ideas for a business. I want to do 4 businesses in 4 months. And I said, go for it. So he built 4 apps, 1 per month, and he'd check in, and I'd count them as his homework assignments. And 2 of those companies he actually launched and is now getting revenue from his class. So he's got a daytime job, and he's a moonlighting entrepreneur with 2 apps. And he's probably got more ideas and more apps since then because he's just learned this process. But Troy, what he did really well is he learned how to learn. He really jumped in, figured things out, and the more you figure out, the faster it makes you next time to do it again and figure it out again. So, all right, do we have a front end to show? So that's what I want to show you is it my screen? Here's aha moment number 1. All of that came together in a second. So 900 lines of code and Linux commands in seconds. All right, do we have a front end? How's the front end looking?
I'm struggling with the front end still.
Oops. Oh.
So, yeah, I've run into, I was a little ambitious with tackling this front end. Wanted to hook up authentication and all these things, but doing that in such a short time was a little tricky. But the process is the same here, and like Andy said, if you've got at least a high level understanding of what you're doing when prompting and building these apps alongside your AI, it prevents a lot of hiccups along the way. So in this case, we're building front end using Expo, so that gives us the mobile app, the web app in one code base. It's easy because you don't have as much context to juggle with your AI, and you have your app built in one place. But as long as you can define clearly your tools you're using, and you're using development best practices, what's publicly available on documentation, then your AI can usually follow along quite well. Yeah, so that's what we've been building on there. I don't have an example to show.
Show me
right
your
now.
app.
Yeah. Do you have the link?
So while Andy and Elijah are working on that, I want to end on this slide. How many of you know this guy? Did you get the mic? Yeah, I can be loud. So I think this is what he said. He did an interview back in April, and I think it really struck me. It says, we'll be in these funny situations where people who don't know how to, because this is a reality. I'll let you read this view for yourself. Be the bridge. You can be that. You will be the job maker, I'm pretty sure. All right, back to you, Andy.
All right, now that was too much, too fast. You have half an hour, you can come up, we'll help you get your IDE installed, we'll help you walk through it. I know you are free next Monday at this time, so you should come back. All of the AST professors and TAs will be here, and we will help you get it going. So if this is too much, come up here and come back next week.
And bring your dream with you.